All right, everyone, welcome back once again to this Beefcast production. I am your casting host, Beef. Joining me is Disco, aka Stu. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. Tournament's doing well. Doing good.
Yeah. So after we do player introductions here, we'll have you talk a little bit about your tournament. So
Okay.
we are here on TSL Entombed Valley for the finals of the Clan Buzz Open #1. In the bottom right-hand corner, we do have the purple Zerg looking like he's got every strategy in the book, whether it's Spine Crawler drops, whether it is Bane Rain, or whether it is pure macro Zerg. He is Zwirwel. And Stu, why don't you introduce the player in the top left?
Yeah, in the top left, the blue Terran, we've got DarkShadow. He's pretty much 2-0 everyone on his way to the finals, so
Yeah,
I do expect this to be a good game.
DarkShadow looking like a very good player. Both of these players have dominated their opponents all the way here. So I'm very excited to see how this game plays out. So Stu, why don't you tell us a little bit about your community here and how you decided to come up with this tournament?
Well, to be honest with you, we're a bunch of Hon players. There was me and a few mates from the local area. You got Basher, Kuno, and you've also got McToaster. And we were just sick of playing Hon on our own. So started recruiting people in to play with us, and it got really big. It's kind of died down a little bit now, though, but we've still got a regular amount of players. And yeah, some of us play StarCraft, and I just thought this should be fun. I want to have a go in this, do a tournament. And yeah, here we are, man.
Very
And
cool.
it's gone very well.
So are you planning to do any more of these tournaments, or is this just going to be kind of a one-off thing at this point?
Well, I mean, this one has been quite a huge success, I think, considering it was the first one. Like I say, the commentary's been excellent as well. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I can definitely see there be more in the future.
well, that would be pretty fun. Right now, we do see that a drone has made its way into DarkShadow's base, pulling off a couple of SCVs there to protect their brethren, trying to produce that barracks. And the drone does manage to escape right now, going off to try to harass another day. Barracks does complete, so that SCV is out of danger for the time being. The drone's still trying to get his way around right there. But back at home, Zwirl has gone ahead and dropped an early hatchery. Hatch before spawning pool going to be coming out right there. And DarkShadow trying to drop a supply depot to block that hatchery. Unfortunately, the hatchery was there already. So,
It's what's that? 15 hatchery, 15 spawning pool.
yeah,
That's pretty standard opening.
very standard opening from our Zerg player right now. So we'll see if he does manage to pop out any early gases or if he's going to go standard Zerg play against this Terran player. Right now, that drone that is inside of the Terran base right now is still just putting up a ton of problems for our Terran player, pulling off 3 SCVs to try to deal with that. Still has not managed to kill it.
You've also got a bunker. It's now actually finished just outside the natural.
You are very
That could
correct.
cause a problem
Marines
if he
are
was to bring
Marines
some
are
raiding
rallying their way across the map and managing to situate themselves inside of this bunker. There's going to be some pretty heavy bunker pressure coming in for this hatchery. The third base is looking like it wants to be dropped here by the Zerg player. Instead, canceling that third right away, didn't actually drop it. Wants to be able to defend this bunker pressure first, but right now, with the spawning pool just finishing up, 10 Zerglings coming out and a queen. A couple of these drones going to make
Apu, sorry, jump in there. Apu's quite good at dealing with stuff like this as well, so I can see him. Although obviously it may cause him a bit of trouble. Like he's normally very fast on the ball and fast to react, and that'll be down before the hatchery, in my opinion.
Yeah, something very skillful that he did just do there was try to pull a couple of drones to try to intercept any kind of remaining Marines, which is actually what he's going to use his Zerglings for. Using the buffer on the hatchery, doesn't need to really save that hatchery right away. Wants to be able to let a couple of Queens come out and a couple more Zerglings come out before he tries to assault into that bunker. As soon as that Queen comes out, we'll see the Queen come down from the main as well, and with both those Queens and about 12 Zerglings, he will easily be able to assault that bunker. The main thing right here with the Queens is as soon as that SCV comes out of the bunker, which is going to happen right now, he needs to target fire it down with the Zerglings and the Queens. But he's not managing to do that right away, but still a pretty clean assault onto that bunker. Saves the hatchery, and very nice job. It's a little bit unfortunate that he didn't plop down the third during that time. He always had the minerals to do so, he just never really did it. I think that it might have accidentally gotten just kind of misrallied, and the third finally coming down for our Zerg player now. Back into the Terran base, 3 additional barracks are going to be coming down along with double gas. The second command center has already completed, and a third command center, 3CC, already coming out. This is a style that Terrans are getting very, very good at. Terrans are getting more and more greedy in this metagame, trying to catch up to the greed of the Zerg. So we'll see what does end up playing out in this game.
So one thing I'm going to point out here is Apu's or Zwirwel's creep spread. Although he hasn't started it yet, he has a tendency to get a couple of queens out, and he does spread his creep. And normally by sort of the 15-20 minute mark, he's got a spread right up to the base.
Yeah.
He'll have, say, 5 or 6 tumors.
In Zwirwel's
he does that very well.
Zwirwel's game, I believe it was against Psionic on Antigua Shipyard. He did have some absolutely absurd creep spread going on there with 6 queens. Yeah. So that was very nice. Zergling's going to be making their way into the natural of the Terran player. Only one unit in the bunker, and guess what? It's not even a Marine. So SCV's not too adept there at fighting Zerglings from within that bunker. Orbital Command is going to be forced to lift off, losing a lot of mining time right now, but still managing to get the energy up. And a couple of Zerglings are going to go down here as the Marines and a couple of SCVs do make their way out to deal with that Zergling contingent. Back at home for the Zerg player, gas has started up, so he's going to be starting a spawning pool. Going to be researching speed relatively quickly here. A Baneling nest going to be coming down, something that Zwirwel did show that he was very comfortable with against both Terran and against Protoss. So we'll see how he does use Banelings in this matchup, if that's going to be a primary fighting force or just something for defense right now as he continues to macro. The third orbital command has completed back in the base of the Terran. Going to be getting a very strong macro advantage as double factory is coming out right now for our Terran player. 4 barracks with reactors.
So that's a lot of production.
With double factory.
A lot of production.
Yeah. So this is going to be a newfangled kind of style of biomech that a lot of players are favoring. Something that MKP actually pioneered about 4 months ago in some games against DRG. Adding things like Thors into a composition mainly based in Marine Marauder and Medevac. So it's a really interesting composition and something that's proven to be quite effective against Zerg if you can use it properly. So we'll see how DarkShadow really does use this. Something really unfortunate right now for DarkShadow, he did actually just stop command all of his SCVs at his natural. And having to really get all those things back in there, they were idle for about 30 seconds there. Really unfortunate losing that mining
supply
time.
blocked as well, 49 or 49 food, and he's got stuff in production queued up that's not building, which is unfortunate as well. But he is getting up some supply depots now.
Yeah.
There's 4 he's using as the wall.
It looks like DarkShadow has really lost his focus a little bit in this game, something that we didn't really see from him in his last series. He was just kind of churning on all cylinders there. But
yeah, well, the thing is he knows Wendell. They played together. They've played together quite a lot, I think. Also, DarkShadow and Apu have played together, but not as much. So he might have been more comfortable against Wendell, but he's a bit unsure because although I can't remember the results of what happened when they have played each other, because we do like a King of the Hill. We'll get say 6, 7, 8 of us. There's a map for it, and it'll do winner stays on. So Apu often he's up there because he's so good, and when Dark Force plays as well, he is very good. And they played each other once or twice, but I don't think it's that much, so we'll have to see if that's maybe something to do with it.
Yeah, we'll see. Finally starting to kick out here is the Terran army, moving out with his 3rd command center as well, going to be taking his 3rd. But back in the Zerg base, he has managed to get all the way up to Lair Tech now, dropping an Infestation Pit in addition to double Evo, probably going to be cranking out melee weapons and melee carapace with all those Zerglings and the Banelings. Baneling speed is on the way and starting that creep spread really out there. A total of 4 queens right now, nothing too much. I'd like that 4th queen to be used back in the base with a macro hatchery. Macro hatchery is about half the way done. With a Zergling based composition, you really need to get as many hatcheries up as you can and make sure that you're not missing any injects because it's an extremely high larva composition. As a random player, how do you feel that Zerglings actually are faring against Terran in the current matchup?
This Zerglings with Banelings, they do very well. When I ladder, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm only gold, so I wouldn't say I'm particularly knowledgeable, but whenever I get random Z versus T, Banelings, that's what I use. And if you're quick enough, you can come in this front wall, destroy it, knock it down. A few tanks can be a problem, but if the Banelings get into the middle line, Zerglings clean it up, you're in a world of hurt. An absolute world of hurt.
Yeah, and one of the advantages of the being a random player is that you get to see both sides of the matchup. As a Terran, how does it feel to really get those Banelings into your bio-based army?
Well, splitting can be hard.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. But I've noticed that he's well spread out here. He has got stim as well. So, although Banelings can do a lot of damage, when microed well, Marines can be perfect against them. I mean, I think you was talking about Marine King Prime earlier. I've been watching, well, I've watched a few of his games because I watch quite a lot of casts myself, and his splitting particularly is amazing. And if you can do that kind of splitting, which obviously, you know, maybe not on this level, but to some level, Banelings don't necessarily have to be that much of a problem, so.
That's true. I was watching IPL Team Arena Challenge 3 finals yesterday. And
yeah, Taja was so good in that. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, Taja's splits were absolutely incredible against some of the Banelings. Just different times against games with Nesty, just making a small amount of Marines do so much work against Zergling Baneling compositions.
Yeah. You're talking about Nesty as well, do you know what I mean? He is a very, very good player.
Certainly. And so back for our Zerg player, he has gone ahead and dropped his Spire. I was looking for the Spire, and it's actually beneath about 12 of those Overlords. So very cool job from Apu, as you call him.
That's it.
Yeah. Very, very nice job.
It's his nickname he's been using. He's creep spread as well, look at it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very good.
With a large map such as Entombed Valley, getting that creep spread out there is very important. Terran are very hesitant to want to push out onto creep just because you can get such good flanks with Zerglings and Banelings when you're attacking onto that creep. But both players starting to move out right now. Tanks, Marines, and Medevacs can be coming in for DarkShadow. A bit smaller of an army composition right now. But with all those Zerglings and Banelings only on 1-1, we'll see how they're going to fare against all these units.
Scary force.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But no upgrades right now for our Terran player. He's only on 0-0, but Zerglings going to be coming around the back with some of these Banelings going to be collapsing onto the Marines right now. Funko's going to be going off on absolutely everything. Zerglings and Banelings going to clean up every single one of those Marines right now, and the Infester's going to come in and clean up with the Fungals, and the Infested Terran going to let nothing live but a couple of Medevacs. And that was a beautiful, picture-perfect engagement there by Apu, managing to retain all but one of his Infestors. Lost a few of these Zerglings, but they will most likely be regenerated to full by the time the next engagement comes down. Going to be using those Zerglings to take down some of these destructible debris, making sure to clear the path for his 5th base right here, and continuing his creep spread all the way up to a total of 7 hatcheries right now. I would say that Apu is actually looking very good with Hive Tech completed. He's going to be starting his Hive Tech structures pretty soon here. Whether that does mean Greater Spire or Ultralisk Caverns, we will see. But oh my god, do you see that? 11 Infestors in production right now from Apu. That is going to be devastating once those hit the field.
I've been waiting for him to use Infestors as well. Obviously, I've been watching the tournament, and that's something that he's started incorporating into his play recently where he hadn't before. But Infestors, they're so brutal, especially against Marines.
Yeah, and so that's going to bring his total number of Infestors all the way up to 14, which is quite a lot. That's right there in that area where you want to be. You want to be above about 8, but no more than about 16. After that, you start having too much of your gas tied up in those Infestors. But that's going to be absolutely gorgeous. If you can retain most of those Infestors for the rest of the game, they are going to be so cost efficient. All spellcaster-based units are efficient if you can retain them. So with that 5th base going up right now for our Zerg player, and a 4th base going to be going up right now for our Terran, probably going to be moving that command center out into a planetary fortress at the 12 o'clock position. Both players just continuing to ramp up their production. Another large army right now coming out with 9 siege tanks and +1 Marines. It looks like DarkShadow is going to want to move across the map. Once again, he needs to do something about this creep spread, though. Creep spread already almost to his front door. 1 scan going to be going down right there. Manages to see a lot of those Zerglings and Banelings sieging up about 3 of those siege tanks on the edge of the creep, and going to be starting to move onto the creep to start clearing up a lot of that. Meanwhile, back home, Greater Spire has started for our Zerg player. Mutalisks were produced.
Oh, and those Infestors.
Yeah, actually the Terran player going to be moving pretty deep here onto the creep, but Zerglings and Banelings going to be moving in. So many Zerglings and Banelings, and the Zerglings using that speed on the creep going to clean up every single one of those tanks. Only the 3 tanks that were initially sieged on the edge of the creep are going to live to tell the tale, but those medevacs are all going to fall. And it looks like DarkShadow could be in a bit of a bad way right now. Zerglings and Banelings going to come up, and beautiful fungals on the Marines. Banelings connect, and every single one of those Marines is going to fall. DarkShadow is in very, very deep trouble right now. The orbital command was produced as a 4th instead of a planetary fortress. Going to be having to lift right there, and Marines going to be trying to come in and clean up the rest of these units. But another beautiful fungal right now, and Apu is absolutely tearing through DarkShadow right now. Infested Terran going to be plopping down. Mules going to be trying to come in and reinforce everything that is being lost, but those mules are just lambs to the slaughter at this point. And it looks like Apu is in shape to go ahead and take game 1 here on Entombed Valley.
I think so. Yeah. And that creep spread's come all the way up as well. He's going to struggle, even if he does hold this off to, well, he's lost his 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, the 3rd is gone. There is another command center. It's not in position right now to reestablish that, but DarkShadow is managing to stabilize there. Once again, only on 2 bases, though. He's unfortunately going to lose all of his barracks. All of his barracks that were there at the 3rd base, which is rather unfortunate. He might actually be able to save 2 of them if he gets an SCV over there fast enough, but one of them, in fact, does burn down. In the middle of the map, a ton of Mutalisks are going to be making their way into this 2-2 Marine ball. And even with 15 Mutalisks, you really don't want to be engaging those 12 Marines with medevac support. Those 2-2 Marines are absolutely going to chew through the Mutalisks, and this is actually one way in which the Zerg player could throw away a gigantic lead. Without really good control, this number of Mutalisks, which is incredibly expensive, could just kind of die. I've done this many times as a Zerg player myself, where you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and make a lot of Mutalisks and then just win the game. But Zerglings would be coming in right now for a beautiful surround. Mutalisks going to come in and try to clean up as many of these tanks as possible. But that Marine ball is actually hammering into the Mutalisks quite a bit. The Marines are all stemmed up right there, are taking down a lot of those Mutalisks in a very cost-efficient engagement for the Terran right here. And the Infestors were not in position. There were no Banelings to try to finish all that off, and the Marines finally do get cleaned up, but not before killing about half of the Mutalisk ball. So very nice job from Dark Force there, trying to engage in that way. But right now, Mutalisks are going to chase the medevacs all the way back across the map. Siege tanks are going to be holding the line, but unfortunately for our Terran player, siege tanks cannot shoot up. Marines finally going to be coming out right now, managed to take down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Every single one of those Mutalisks does in fact fall. So that flock of 26 Mutas that I was talking about earlier is down all the way to 6 right now.
And that's a lot of gas as well that you're talking about. Mutalisks, 100 gas per Mutalisk, is that right?
Yeah, 100 per Mutalisk. So that is gas that could have been used in things like Banelings, more Infestors, continued upgrades, or even Broodlords, especially with that Greater Spire finished. I'm a little bit surprised that he chose to go for a giant Muta transition rather than going for a Broodlord transition. But sometimes you just want to use Mutalisks because they're fast, they're effective, and they're fun. They're certainly fun. But
if you look now as well, the Apu has got a pretty much maxed army, and he's still got quite a bit of gas and a lot of minerals left over. So, I mean, this it's going to be a struggle now. I'm pretty sure this game.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you here, but there is a large number of Zerglings that did make their way to the 4th base over here at the 12 o'clock position, managed to clean up a lot of SCVs and mules, as that giant ball Mulus did make its way into the natural of our Terran player, managing to clean up quite a bit of SCVs over there. Once again, the Zerg army is going to be making its way to try to gather up, but at the same time, at the 6 o'clock position, 1 medevac worth of drops is going to be going on over here. But Corruptor's going to be trying to chase down the medevacs as much as possible. Zergling's going to be coming over to try to deal with that as well.
GG.
But DarkShadow feels very overwhelmed by the map presence that Apu had, and forced to GG. So very nice classic game there from our Zerg player, managing to extend that macro advantage to a battle advantage and making some very good decisions in the battles. Some unorthodox Muta play, but in the end, it did not matter. He was able to completely overwhelm DarkShadow in a very nice game.
Yeah, very nice.
So any closing thoughts there?
Well, I'm just looking forward to the next game. It's a best of 5 as well, so
Yeah.
it should be very interesting. Dark Force played well. I just think, maybe a bit more aggression. He might have been able to get that. He might have been able to get that fourth hatchery up,
Yep.
fourth command center.
Yep, very good game. Looking forward to the next. We'll catch you there. I've been your casting host, Beef. Joining me again was Disco, aka Stu, and we'll see you guys in the next game.
See ya.